今日も真の森です。今回も渓谷牧場にて、メキシコの旅がてら、ストーリーミッションを楽しみたいと思います。ミッションについては概要欄をご覧ください。
Should be a pile of rocks there. Line up the gabions first, then fill them. They were conspicuous enough, no? No? Well, the important thing is that they work. Cram as many as you can into each of them. That'll set us up nicely for winter. It's gonna take some time to see the effect of all this, but it's good work you're doing. Believe me, I'm grateful for the extra set of hands. I have one final task for you before you are free to go off on your own. Most of our outposts are former stockmen's residences. Gives them a bit of rustic charm, you know? Back in the old days, entire families worked the land here. Men, women, and children. We still had a couple of people on staff when I was born. But then beef prices tanked and my parents couldn't afford the expense anymore. Us kids had to pick up the slack. Anyway, there's a stockman's residence kind of in the middle of nowhere, even by the standards of this place, that had fallen into disuse. We've given it a paint job and replaced some of the furniture. Now all that's needed to officially establish it as an outpost is a notice board. Head over and set it up. There's the notice board. Grab that shovel too. Clear away the rocks first, just over there where the path begins. Bet you're glad you're not doing this in July. What's that? Gene, is that some sort of save for a logbook? Let me see. It's a brass lock and handle, a keyhole. This is not new. Could be early 20th century. I feel like I recognize it from somewhere. I've got it. There used to be a lockbox like this in the Casa Grande's master bedroom. My mom wouldn't like you snooping around, but this feels important. Can you head back over there and see if you can find the key? Just if you're up for it, of course. This isn't part of your job description. Oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Finish up here first. Looks good. And feel free to use this outpost yourself now. If you're in the neighborhood, I'd appreciate it if you could swing by the Casa Grande. I guess my curiosity's got the better of me.
建物に味があるね。
master bedroom's upstairs. He always did appreciate his privacy, my great-grandfather. That room and the study were like his own personal oasis. Right. Let me think. Some plausible deniability would be good for when my mom finally shows up. So let's not just start rifling through things. The logbox I remember was sitting on a shelf next to a wardrobe. Is that the key? It sure looks well used. Let's try it. A disassembled shotgun. Pump action looks like. Also early 20th century. Are those flecks of blood on the stock? It would make sense if it belonged to Don Javier. He did sleep in here for most of his life, but I don't recognize it. Look, I don't know how things are done where you're from, but I'd rather not get the police involved with this. Whatever happened clearly happened a long time ago, and they've got more to worry about out here in the borderlands. Plus, my family has a somewhat complicated history with them. So, let's try to solve this ourselves. Let me think. I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but maybe we should check it for clues. RS Bosque Alto, agosto de 1916. RS Bosque Alto, August 1916. Bosque Alto is a site to the east of here, the woods up in the hills, but the initials... RS, RS, RS... I'm stumped. How about you leave the gun here for now, and I'll have someone from the lab we usually work with for animal samples check the blood. I really doubt there's any intact DNA left, if it's as old as that engraving suggests, but it doesn't hurt to check. I'll keep you up to date. I'm not aware of any buildings up around Bosque Alto, or at least not any intact ones. Good thing I know someone whose entire job involves tracking things down, and this time you don't need to worry about anything running off on you. I'll mark the rough location on your hunter mate, and you can put those transferable skills to the test. Chances are we won't find anything, but I won't rest easy until we've at least checked.
いいよ、付き合いましょう。ショットガンの刻印にあった地域に来ました。
No luck yet? There's a lookout tower nearby that'll give you a good view out onto Bosque Alto. I'll send you the coordinates. There, by the lake. A shack.
唱。こちらも合唱。
Well, I guess I wasn't wrong about there not being any intact buildings around here. Are you able to get inside? Be careful. Someone must have rested here at some stage, but there's nothing to suggest they bunkered down. Try the desk there. Mira, what a thing to find out in the middle of nowhere. I'm amazed it's not completely faded. So, I'm pretty sure the guy on the right is Bisabuelo Javier. Even without the head, the suit's a dead giveaway. And his younger friend must be our RS. The date isn't too far off the one on the shotgun, at least. This is weirdly familiar. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Let's go back to the Casa Grande. There's a century's worth of old photos and newspaper clippings in Javier's study. Maybe we'll find something that jogs my memory. The landform looks like the one around where they used to water the cattle back when open grazing was still practiced. It's along the arroyo, but I'm not sure where exactly, and I don't recognize the shrine. Take the photo with you and we can try matching it to your surroundings. Oh, by the way, I got a call from the lab while you were wandering around Bosque Alto. As I suspected, the blood samples didn't turn up any DNA. It was always going to be a long shot, if you'll forgive the pun. Anyway, I sent the shotgun itself to a gunsmith to retrofit and reassemble. I want you to have it. You didn't have to go out of your way to help solve this mystery that has nothing to do with you. But you stepped up. I know, it's a bit macabre to use a dead man's weapon, but, look, we're conservationists. Waste not, want not should guide us. I doubt RS would mind whoever he was. Unless you'd rather it ended up in a museum. Didn't think so. I've asked my cousin to leave it at an outpost I'll mark on your hunter mate.
ショットガンもらいに来ました。
I hope it serves you better than it did RS. I've got some more news while I have your ear. Remember those gringo intruders I told you about? Well, my cousins just texted me. She spotted their pickup truck again on her way home. Actually, not far from the outpost you're at now. But no sign of the intruders themselves. Do me a favor. Head out and jot down their license plate number. And if you do see them, probably best to just turn back. Who knows what they're packing? I really hope they at least turned off the engine when they went hunting in this thing. And that's the crappiest shooting range I've ever seen. Baden, Texas, Lone Star State. What does the plate say? Oh, God. I can feel your mood worsening from here. You've had more than a couple of run-ins with these guys before, no? I'd love to tell you I'd never heard of them, but their reputation extends to these parts, too. Well, at least the plate makes them easily identifiable. So the, targets are all intact, which means one of two things. Either they're just terrible shots, or something else caught their attention. Let's remind them they're not alone out here, why don't we? Shoot down a couple of them. It's an excuse to try out that new shotgun if you have it on you.
一応装備してみよう。とりあえず、キジとウサギ用の弾を買うかな。
How's it feeling? Age certainly hasn't dimmed its beauty, no? The study's next to the room you're staying in. The furniture in there is uncovered. I was actually planning on moving most of it out to make it into a second guest bedroom. Any day now. Well, it's probably for the best. Because this time you're definitely not going to be able to avoid rifling through things. Mom will forgive me, I hope.
家族の歴史とか謎ってやっぱ面白いよね。
So many places to hide something. Take it one by one, and we'll see if anything jumps out. A souvenir from my great-grandparents' trip to Germany. My bisabuela was a surprisingly mean shot. These trolls, they're a good deal less scary in miniature, no? A couple of family members were in New Zealand around the time they filmed the first movie.
ニュージーランドも懐かしいね。
Still amazed they got these plates over in one piece. Bisabuelo Javier was a big travel buff. He used to steal all the towels from the hotel rooms we stayed in. He'd be like, "It's covered by the room fee." He was a good man. A bit eccentric, but it was part of his charm. This is more like it. Let me take a look.
"メキシコが独立を求めてアメリカと戦闘した。サンディエゴ計画と関係ありそうですね。
Raúl Soto del Bosque. Raúl Soto. R.S. Javier's little brother. Of course. I should have known. I've heard the stories a million times. They never found his body. Raúl was a bit of a hothead, if you'd believe the reputation he had. A young intellectual. You know the type. And Javier was the last person to see him alive. And did he go join the Villistas? Or maybe he had a target on his back. Us Sotos were a pretty influential family around here before the revolution. Javier and Raúl's dad would have had the ear of the local cacique, the mayor in the pocket of the federal government. Favors for favors, you know. But then, everything was shook up. I heard that when they reported the disappearance, the police, or what was left of them around that time, practically laughed in their faces. They knew Raúl better than his own family. Said he was probably out fighting with some bandits. But then why would he leave his shotgun behind? And how did it end up in that logbook 6 feet under the ground? We're clearly not done with this mystery yet, but at least we know the major players now. Let's try finding that shrine.
聖廟とは、簡単に言うと墓のことです。この写真を参考に探せと。
This is around where I think the area in the photo might be. You're gonna have to do some scouting again. Here's the arroyo, or, well, what's left of it. It's dry almost year-round these days. Almost hard to imagine they used to be able to graze cattle here. Keep your eyes peeled for the shrine and the curve of the hill behind it. Let's try following it north.
とりあえず、北に目星つけるか。この辺ってここかな。 西にあるクレーターに行ってみようか。秘密のオアシスっぽくていいな。急に深くなってるとは。ここではなかったか。ここの白ポチが怪しいぞ。
This frame doesn't look all that old. Let me try to translate. Someone plunged a knife deep in my side. Did he know why? I don't know why. Maybe he knew. I never knew. Ay, Dios. I recognize this. Let me think. That novel about the revolution. Los de abajo, the underdogs. It was Javier's favorite. This looks like it's been torn straight out of it. And the frame was probably placed here a lot more recently than the grave marker was erected. He wanted us to find this. Maybe there's a clue in the book itself. Let's head back to the Casa Grande one last time. I think we're close to wrapping this up.
ということで今回はここでお開き、お付き合いに感謝。次回も農園一家の謎を解いていきます。またのお越しを。よろしければ、作業用の自然派動画として、チャンネル登録してもらうと嬉しいです。コメントもらうと喜びますし、いいねもらっても、もちろん喜びます。真の森でした。